Hello.
Our heads are spinning.
Oh my god, my brain is about to explode. There are 1,000 Spider-Men out there.
Okay. All right. Yesterday, we went over Star Wars 2023, what we're looking forward to seeing next year.
And now it's time for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, it's Marvel this time. And boy, Marvel's got a lot going on next year. Okay. Now, of course, the dates are subject to change, but we're just gonna go through and just talk about some things that we're looking forward to regarding Marvel. All right.
Confirmed dates that we know.
Yes. I'm Kerwin. This is Keith. We're father and son. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's get into it. So what are we starting off with?
So let's start with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
All right.
So as we know, the headline is Lawrence Fishburn is going to be voicing the Beyonder. So what could this mean for the MCU?
Right.
I think this might be sort of a setup for Secret Wars, although having a main villain appearing in an animated show is something Marvel's never done before. So what do you think this could be?
Well, this is very interesting because, when we did the not a spoiler, but we did a trailer reaction to Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, and we found out that Lawrence Fishburne is the voice of the Beyonder. We said, wow, Beyonder. Well, the Beyonder,
that's a big name.
Right, actually plays a big part in Secret Wars. It's
coming in 2025.
Right, and if you have not read the comic books, this is the series back in the 1980s where the Beyonder brought these characters together. Characters meaning they brought heroes and villains together to fight each other to see who comes out the victor.
Hence Battle World.
Right, and who gets to control the world. All right, so it was world domination type thing. But the Beyonder,
it's like Hunger Games, but bigger stakes.
Yeah. So I was very surprised to see the Beyonder, that name, appear in an animated series. But, that's the connection there. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see.
Yeah, this could be some big things.
Yeah. All right. So then that is coming out February the 10th. Mm-hmm. All right. And that's going to be on the Disney Channel.
And then after it finishes premiering on Disney Channel, it's going to be moved over to Disney Plus.
All right. Yeah, very good. All right. Looking forward to that. What do we have next?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania, release date just a week later, February 17th, 2023. So as we know, Hank, Janet, Hope, Scott, and Cassie are getting sucked into the quantum realm by some sort of portal mishap, and Kang is going to be the main villain. So, as we know, Kang is also a huge part of some of the other events in the MCU, such as the Kang Dynasty, which we know Kang will be the main villain, or at least one of the title villains. So, I'm trying to think, what does this mean for the future? Because seeing Kang in the MCU right now as Ant-Man, also, this probably is a different variant of Kang, because if you remember, at the end of Loki, Sylvie kind of is like, let's get this over with, and then Kang's like, goodbye, or like, see you again soon, and then, timelines fracture, and a bunch of other Kangs start to come through. So this must be, they probably got transferred to the quantum realm, and this is one of the variants they'll meet there.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Yeah, it may not be the same variant that we saw in Loki season 1.
It likely isn't, because that one is in blue and it doesn't have the Kang marks.
Right. It's very interesting to see how many Kangs we get to see, but it's just fantastic that we're going to see so much more of Jonathan Majors, playing this character. Right.
It'll be fantastic.
That's right. Yes.
And you know what? I don't know if you've been hearing the rumors, but people are saying, "Oh, Ant-Mans are gonna die in this movie." I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you, when we saw the trailer, it looked dark, right, for an Ant-Man film, So, yeah, it looks high stakes, if you can put it that way.
Grim.
Yeah, it does. I don't think it's going to get that far.
I don't think anyone's going to die.
Yeah,
I think this is more of a let's set the stakes right now. And let's show you what's going to happen.
Right.
Let's give you Kang right now.
Right.
And let's show you what's going to happen when you put him in a box with another superhero. Tempers are going to flare.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Especially if Kang is going to be there. Right. Okay.
Also, they wouldn't get rid of it in his own movie. And Ant-Man hasn't really had that much screen time. I mean, I think it'd be foolish to get rid of him now.
And if you're going by what happened in the comic books back in the 80s, the Secret Wars comic books.
He's in that.
Actually, the Wasp is in
At least the
Secret
Wasp is.
Wars. I don't
Ant-Man's,
recall.
I don't think
Ant-Man.
he is.
Yeah.
I believe he's part of the Kang dynasty. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He should be at least.
Right. Exactly. Right. So
either way, I mean,
Yeah.
I know Vision didn't get that much screen time either, but he was kind of a plot device so they could set up WandaVision
Mhm.
and give a cohesive storyline, and then ruin it in Multiverse of Madness. But Marvel logic be like.
All right. Okay.
So let's take a quick break for Q&A. Let us just pull them up for a second.
Yes. Once again, and thank you for my notes are gone. All right. Thank you for thank you for joining us. So once again, if you're just joining us, we are here to talk about Marvel 2023. So we have some Q&A that's coming up. Yes, exactly. All right.
Alex, I heard the rumors too, but even if he does die, I can see him being brought back.
Yes. Well, anything can happen, Alex. Thank you very much. Right.
Yeah, I mean, this whole quantum realm thing is really fuzzy because, as we know, this saga is the multiverse saga. Like the first three phases, that was the Infinity Saga, ending with Endgame and Far From Home. So now we're in the multiverse saga, which is probably going to be phases 4, 5, and 6. And possibly we'll get the introduction to the X-Men at the end of the multiverse saga, possibly as some sort of Secret Wars tie-in where the multiverse fractures and other characters from other worlds are brought in. Like, as we know, Kraven the Hunter, Morbius,
Oof.
Blade, they're
boy.
all in like separate worlds.
Good
So maybe
point.
we can get some of those Marvel Legacy characters, such as Morbius and Blade and Ghost Rider, the Fantastic Four, these other characters being brought into the Prime Marvel universe, which is Earth 199999. So possibly that could be part of the multiverse saga. Although my problem with the multiverse saga is it's very confusing. Like, I get what Marvel's trying to do. I think they're kind of hinting towards bringing in some of the characters from the older shows and whatnot, but I'm quite confused with it because the way the multiverse works has been changed so many times because of so many different points of view of it that at this point it's like a huddle, muddle, tweedle, beetle, puddle mess.
You're right. Go ahead.
Can I say something real
Yeah,
quick?
sure. Go ahead.
So you remember that scene in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness,
Yes.
where Doctor Strange is like, and America Chavez are like, dreams are representations of yourself in other worlds. So the thing is, how is that possible? Because remember when Thor dreamed of the Infinity Stones? Like in Avengers Age of Ultron when he went into that pool or something. Not the most memorable scene because I forgot it, but remember that scene? And remember when Tony had the dreams of like Thanos coming to Earth and whatnot? So I've come to the conclusion that all multiverses run on the same time. So if it's 2015 on one world, it's 2015 on all others. If it's 2:30 p.m. on one world, it's 2:30 p.m. in others. The only thing that changes is the storylines, not the current time. So unless there's some world out there where Thanos invaded earlier, but with the same outcome, I'm not sure because you know what they say, infinite realities, infinite universes, that entire thing. But I'm not sure about that. So possibly, to go back to the question we were asked, possibly if they do decide to get rid of the Ant-Man, there could be a way to bring him back via the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you think we'll see the X-Men join the fight against Kang? Maybe a big battle having the X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four.
We were just
all
talking
fighting
about
Kang.
that. Right. So your point is
Yeah.
that the X-Men will probably not appear in the Kang dynasty.
Yeah,
but sometime
I'm not
after.
sure.
Yeah.
Probably during Secret Wars or something. Some way to bring them in because as we know, some of the X-Men were in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have to be there before we can do that. So I'm just thinking possibly they can be in the Kang dynasty. But I think what's proper is to have an X-Men film and then the end credit scene be setting them up for Secret Wars. So that way we have our timeline filled out, because if they put the X-Men film afterwards, it's going to be like, well, they've already appeared. We know that much. So I just think it'd be more proper to have the X-Men show, or at least movie, because we know they're going to be making the X-Men 99 or something, or like X-Men 89 show come back. Was it 86? Some year in the 1980s. So they're going to have that show come back.
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
I
believe
think
it's the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need a proper movie
Well,
for that to work, for them to introduce them in Secret Wars.
right. All in the game. We see your question. I just want to say something about the multiverse. So yes, you're right. It is very confusing, and it's not always, if you're
It's
thinking
not
about,
always straightforward.
well, if right, you're thinking about the comic books, it's left up it's left
So
to
it's
an
a matter of
interpretation.
interpretation.
Yes, because you have different writers who are bringing in their knowledge or their characterization of the multiverse and who's a part of it and what happens in the multiverse. But as filmmakers, I'm sure that yes, they want to introduce the multiverse, but they don't want to make it confusing for people to follow, right?
Yeah, and you know what I think?
Yes, go ahead.
Like, the thing is, in the comic books, like I brought up at the beginning of this episode, there are thousands of different universes, and those are only the ones that have been written about, whether it be Zombieverse, Cancerverse, all these different universes, Battle World, even all these different universes for the comics. And the MCU, we've only seen one, and then there's Marvel Legacy films such as Fantastic Four and Ghost Rider and Blade, those things, but those are from different worlds. So I think the thing is, like, there's so many different worlds out there,
yes,
and we've seen so few. So
we know that Marvel is being very they're taking their time and introducing the X-Men characters and Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. We know they're coming because there's rumors about them, and we know that the X-Men are going to be here because we have Wolverine, right, coming back in Deadpool, right?
Deadpool
so
3 is also there.
Right.
That's right. That's another Marvel Legacy movie.
Right. And so it's all calculated. They know what they're doing, right? And they know they can't just roll everything out all at once, right? Because like you said, it is too confusing. But it's in the works. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to bring in. But I like how they're doing it piecemeal. All right. And I know that we're probably thinking, well, it's not fast enough for the rest of us. But they have a plan.
If we could get every Marvel thing at once, sign me up.
Yes, they have a plan. Can we go back to All in the Game's question about which MCU film from 2023 will make $1 billion?
Which, if any, of the 2023 MCU movies do you think is the most likely to gross $1 billion?
Yeah, I know. My opinion is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, I think so, because it's been highly awaited.
True, right. And I think something, this speculation, something big is going to happen because it's the last Guardians of the Galaxy film. So something huge is going to take place that's really going to change the game for the rest of the MCU. These characters just came from out of nowhere. Really, I hadn't, not much knowledge of who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, but they're so beloved, and they've been in such huge films up to this point, and this is the last one where we're going to, maybe see them all together. So
possibly,
but I think, to answer your question, All in the Game is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy will be the one to make $1 billion.
I think so too.
Yep. All right. Okay. All right. Let's move on. What's our next film?
So our next film, or rather series, I just said series.
Yes.
Is Secret Invasion.
It's beautiful. Let me stop you right here. Marvel has got TV series, they've got films.
They're just
coming
worked
out.
in there. It's perfect.
So it's all spread out. So Secret Invasion.
Kiss, hats off, whatever you want to call it.
All right. What do we know about
whatever cooking terms you like to use to describe your movies and television shows?
What do we know about Secret Invasion?
So we know Nick Fury and Maria Hill are going to be teaming up, and Rhodey and Abigail Brand, played by Emilia Clarke, are also going to be in the show. And the main thing is they're dealing with a Skrull invasion.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that play out, because in the trailer, we didn't actually see much of the Skrulls.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the other people dealing with the fight.
Yeah.
Not the actual Skrulls. So I think we would get our second trailer, or if we get our second trailer, probably around Christmas time. I think it'd be nice to see that too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, exactly right. Yeah. All right. So please continue to post your comments. If you have any questions or comments that you have regarding the films that we're going through, that's it. All right. We're going to keep going. All right. What's the next film?
So our next film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
All right. Here we go.
So now we have a new actor, Will Poulter, as Adam Warlock.
Yes.
Long awaited.
Yes.
And he's been created by Ayesha to destroy the Guardians. Now,
Okay.
I'm not sure about the comic storyline, but I did watch that run of Guardians of the Galaxy from 2014 to 2017, and Adam Warlock is in that, and apparently he has some evil tendencies and an evil alter ego called Magus who, likes to take over and become evil, and he's highly powerful, has the same powers of Adam Warlock, except he uses them for bad. And there's a gem on his forehead, basically, that gives him his powers. That yellow thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like Vision. You remove it, he's not really going to make it out. So,
right.
He needs that.
Yes. All right. And once again, this is going to be the big movie of the year. Okay. All right. What else do we have? Do we have any comments? Okay. So let's keep on going. So what do we have after that?
Next up, we have Echo, Summer 2023.
Okay. I think you missed one. Across the Spider-Verse?
Yep.
Yes,
that's
right.
June 2nd.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'm not sure. Echo's supposed to come out summer 2023, but let's go to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, let's talk about that because we know it's a Sony picture, but it's
like
still
we
part
said,
of
that whole
Marvel.
thing, that whole movie explores the multiverse, so maybe they'll take a stop at our friendly neighborhood universe.
Yeah, how about that?
Meet our Spider-Man, maybe even join their universe for a while.
Yes, exactly. And I believe, from what I'm hearing, when I'm reading, there's a trailer that's going to be dropping soon.
Yes. By the way, Loki trailer, that's coming soon. I know we didn't get to Loki yet, but I couldn't help myself.
Okay. Well, I think the trailer for Spider-Verse is December 12th or the 13th, but it's coming up soon next week. Okay. All right. That's fine. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's look at our Q&A. Let's see what we got.
All right, so Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. All in the game, there's potentially 9 MCU projects in 2023.
That's what we count. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I think less is more. I don't want more than 6 projects a year. 3 movies and 3 shows a year should be the limit to ensure quality control. I'm not sure. I partially agree and I partially disagree. I disagree for the reason that I am a diehard Marvel fan and I need to see as much Marvel content as I can. But I also agree because if you notice, quality of VFX is kind of going down. I'm glad they kind of picked it up because now in She-Hulk, it's gotten a lot better. But you remember that scene in Black Widow and Yelena suddenly, breaks that helicopter with her sticks or whatever those things were, batons or something. So I'm not sure, but that was so obvious that it was a green screen that people just make memes of it. Speaking of memes, Third Eye. Ohio be like.
Oh, we're talking about Doctor Strange?
Yeah. That budget was like $70 million, and that Third Eye looked like a copy and paste job.
Yeah, let me comment on that as well. All in the game. You're right. It does seem like a lot. But it does seem like a lot. Now, of course, these dates are subject to change.
And some of these projects are being made by different studios.
Right.
Moonglow is being handed off to Disney Channel.
Yeah.
And then Across the Spider-Verse is being handed off to Sony.
Yes. But the great advantage that Marvel has is that they can create films as well as the series, right? So they have material that they can, keep going for the entire year. We can have a full year. They can fill up
the entire year.
Right. And because they have, they have the TV, they have Disney Plus, they have the Disney Channel, they have films, the big screen films. So it may seem like a lot, but I think people are like want more, right? Because they want to connect it all, because we know that it's getting us to where we want to be at some point, where we want to get to the Kang dynasty. How do we get there? How do you get to Secret Wars? How do we introduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men? So yes, it does seem like a lot, but this is the only way that we're going to get to where we need to go.
And I need to talk about writing too as quality control, because Black Widow, all-star cast, Scarlett Johansson, David Harbour, Florence Pugh, and you had all these people. But the problem is you can have a great movie with a great cast and writing that, frankly, is not what I know Marvel is capable of. Because I know there's been better shows. WandaVision, perfect writing. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, perfect. Loki, perfect. Hawkeye, amazing. Spider-Man No Way Home. I've seen better, you know. And then Doctor Strange is the Multiverse of Madness. See, in WandaVision, we wrapped up the story arc because Wanda was learning to deal with Vision's grief.
Yep.
You know, she had dealt with it, she'd resolved it, she knew what was going to happen, and she allowed Vision to go. She had to let go of her kids, but she got through it. And then all of a sudden, with no explanation, Wanda's just evil again, and she's about to attack a teenager just to get her two imaginary children back who never existed at all. Like, you want children? Like, go adopt a child, please. Save us the trouble of trying to take a child.
Yeah.
And you could just go adopt two children.
Okay. Well, what we want to do is, so we're talking about 2022, right? So
yeah, I'm going back to 2021.
We can't change what happened in the past, all right? So we can only move forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw a question in regards to All in the Game. Can you rank the 2023 MCU movies in terms of how much they're going to make at the box office?
So I think Guardians Volume 3 is going to have to top it.
That would be number one, right?
And then I'd say Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, because Quantum Realm. And I hate to do this to the Marvels, but I'm going to have to put that at the bottom because... Not because I don't like it, but because I put everything else first.
Right. So, All in the Game, we can't really give you numbers as to how much they'll make, but if we're ranking
it as
far as how much we think are going to be the three most successful films of the year, yes, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be what was the second one that you said?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the third one is going to be I think the Spider-Verse movie is going to make more than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But that's on Netflix, man.
No, I think that's going to be released.
All right,
you can double.
This,
okay,
man.
That's fine. That's fine. We can double check that. But I'm surprised that they would do that because didn't the first film come out in the theaters? So okay, all right. Anyway, we'll look into the Spider-Verse. I actually think that if they release it in the theaters, that has to make. It's going to make.
I think it's going to be.
It's going to make a ton of money because the first one was very successful. And there's no reason why the second one cannot be just as successful. So, yes. So, my top three would be Guardian of the Galaxy, the Spider-Verse, right? Okay. Uh-huh. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Okay.
Alex, I heard speculation that Drax or Rocket will die. Do you think either one or both of them will die? No. I have to say no because, the Guardians crew has been together for so long. And I know it seems logical to get rid of one of them for a more sentimental send-off, but I think that would really put a hole in it because if we're trying to have this big event where Guardians, the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four all come together in some huge event, we can't be getting rid of the team because if we're adding Gamora back, which we saw in the trailer, why are we getting rid of even more of the team just to have her back? Because I think if they do that, if they get rid of Drax or they get rid of Rocket, just when we have Gamora back, it's just gonna hit everyone hard.
Right.
I think that make the movie one of the lower rated because of that death.
Right. Okay. All right. As far as whether who's gonna go, Drax or Rocket, what I've been hearing is Dave Bautista has decided that he wants to, no longer play Drax, or he has reached his point where he doesn't, he's done all he can for that character.
Why?
Well, I don't know, maybe because he just wants to move on and do different things. So, if that's the
Drax.
case, well, that's where I was going. Yeah. So if someone were to die, then maybe it would be Drax's character.
That's terrible.
Yeah, but we don't know that for sure. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next film.
God,
so what we're talking about Echo. All right,
God, that's terrible.
Well, now, by the way, did you want to talk about Gamora because we know?
Yes. So let me explain to you.
Yeah, let's return.
So I know there's been some people out there who are like, "Oh, how is Gamora returning?" So what happened is, remember in 2023 when Nebula from 2023 was being not memory control, but the Nebula from 2014 was accessing the memories of Nebula 2023, the
Right.
good Nebula.
This
I'll
is
just
an
call them
end game,
good
right?
Nebula and bad Nebula.
This happened in Endgame.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Okay.
bad Nebula still works for Thanos, and so does Gamora. So Thanos packs them all up and takes them time traveling to 2023. So good Nebula gets rid of bad Nebula, and Iron Man snaps away Thanos and his army. However, Gamora stays because, she's a good guy, not a bad guy. She wasn't working with Thanos at the time. So she stays, and she's still in that universe. So she's going to be there, and that's how she's returning.
Got it. All right. Well, there you go. All right. Okay. So we were talking about Echo.
Yes. So let's get to Echo.
Mhm.
We know Charlie Cox is supposed to be Daredevil, and that Vincent D'Nofrio is Kingpin.
Yes.
So I think this is going to be more of kind of like a thriller show, more of like a action show. I'm expecting a lot more hand-to-hand combat with Echo, Daredevil, and Kingpin being the front runners, like some sort of taking down Kingpin's gang and whatnot.
Yeah. So this would probably be an introduction to Daredevil, right? Born Again, which is probably coming out 24. But that's just to get us excited about seeing more Daredevil, right? We saw him in She-Hulk. All right, he'll be back in Echo. Yeah, he'll probably be in a minor role with for Echo as well. Kingpin, we know, we saw what happened at the end of Hawkeye.
Bow bow.
He's fine. He's fine.
He survived.
Don't worry about Kingpin.
Come on, they're not getting rid of him that easy.
Yeah, right. So not much else we know about Echo. But we also know that during the same summer, 2023, there's going to be 2 series, right? So we got Echo, and now we have Loki season 2.
So as we know, Loki and Sylvie are back again. Ke Huy Quan is starring as an unannounced character who is apparently a TVA archivist. So probably something about him, Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie trying to work together to reverse what Sylvie did.
Wow.
So hopefully, mend the multiverse together, because the Sylvie kind of ruined it.
She did. She overreacted. Right. Okay.
And the next trailer drops December 13th.
Okay. All right. For Loki. All right. So again,
of this year, not next year.
Yes. Right. Okay. So post your comments and, let us know if you have any questions or anything else that you want to talk about. Let's move on to the next film.
The Marvels. You want to cover these last 2 or last 3? Because I'm done talking.
All right. Well, okay, that's fine. So, we know that Iman Vellani is going to be in it. She was Kamala Khan.
Iman Vellani was Kamala
Right,
Khan.
Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, right, at the end of the post-credit scene for Ms. Marvel.
She apparently swapped places with Captain Marvel.
Right, we don't know what that means. We also know that Ms. Marvel
IDK was happening there.
We also know that she's a mutant. So we don't know how
she's the MCU's first mutant.
That's right. We don't know how that's going to play in, but we're going to have Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and Monica Rambeau.
Yes. As we know, in the comics, Kamala Khan is an Inhuman. So I think the thing is, the show didn't do that well back in 2016 to 2018 when they released it. So I think what they're trying to do now is basically erase Inhumans from the MCU. I don't know why though, because just because one show did bad doesn't mean all Inhumans suck.
Well, okay, that's a good point. Right. I know Inhumans did not do well. So maybe they're not at this point ready to bring the Inhumans back, but you're right. It doesn't mean that all of them can't return. That's possible. Right. Yeah. All right. So then, so that's the Marvels. That show. I
feel so bad. That show.
That's in July.
11% Rotten Tomatoes.
Right. Let's go back to the notes. The date that the Marvels comes out. Mm-hmm. That would be July 28th, 2023. All right. So we're looking forward to that. Nina DaCosta, she's a very talented director. She will also she will be directing the film, right? New director. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Okay.
Q&A.
Yes, let's do Q&A. What do we have?
Let's see what we got. Alex, very cool that Ke Huy Quan will be in Loki. He was great in another multiversal property, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Excited to see him in Loki.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard everybody saying he was so great in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah,
I would see it, but it's rated R.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, cool. Okay.
Yes, man. Google it.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh well. Okay. Well, I would definitely.
Have fun.
I will check it out. I have not been able to see it as of yet, but I will definitely check it out. I heard he's very good in it. Michelle Yeoh also is, there's Oscar talk, for both of them actually. But Ke Huy Quan, he'll always be short round in my book, from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So
of course he will. Then.
Yeah. So very, very cool. And we talked about his story where there was a time when there were no roles for people that looked like him, and he was out of work for a very long time. And
which
now,
was sad.
Yeah, but now he's back. So absolutely excited to see him do anything because he's very passionate about his work. All right.
By the way, guys, like and subscribe to the video.
Yes. Alex, yes.
I heard that Miss Marvel was originally supposed to be a mutant, but due to copyright or related issues, they had to make her an Inhuman in the comics, but I need to check this.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I think she was referred to as a mutant in the series, right? But maybe I need to double check that as well.
Yeah,
I thought that was
Bruno
the word.
Bring that up at the
end.
Right,
I thought that was the word they used. They called
and he's like,
her
"Oh, let's take a ride in the new car." By the way, you're a mutant.
Right, and then by the way, in Black Panther, spoiler alert,
Namor
is also a mutant. He made that clear that he is a mutant as well. So
remember, like the entire movie, you just went.
Okay, well, people who've seen the movie would know what you're referring to, but yes. And also remember that there are people listening to us who can't see what you're doing. But
okay, well, if you're listening to us, you're missing out, so go to the stream right now.
Okay.
Go watch this.
Okay, I think that we have one more series on our list, right?
Yep.
And
that is Ironheart. Speaking of Black Panther.
Yes.
So now we know.
Good transition.
Yes, in Ironheart, this is presumably taking place after Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
And apparently Red Hood is going to be the villain.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Red Hood's backstory.
Yeah.
Give me a second so I can pull it up.
Yes, I saw that too. Red Hood is the
Hood. I think he goes.
I'm sorry.
The Hood.
Yeah, or the Hood.
Sorry, I didn't.
He is the main villain in Ironheart. If you saw our review of Ironheart, we did a review of Ironheart, her backstory. We, like if you would just go back and take a look at that, we talked more about her and her storyline back then, and her storyline in the comic books and in the movies. So we don't want to go too much into it now, but please check that out. But yes, what do we know about this this villain?
So basically, he witnessed Electro fighting Daredevil as a child. Possibly we might see Electro appear, maybe briefly, and he decided from then on he wanted to be a supervillain. That's not the lesson you'd think you would pull from that, but so he eventually finds this mystical being at a nearby warehouse with his friend because they're trying to find money to help his mother get better. So he actually finds this mystical being, bow, eliminates it, and then he takes its cloak and boots, which give him magical powers, such as the ability to walk on air. And those powers originated from Dormammu, but he doesn't know that. So possibly another multiversal tie-in, because apparently, like how we thought all roads led to Crimson Dawn in Star Wars, all roads lead to the multiverse in Marvel.
Yes. Can you explain more about who Dormammu, what that is? Dormammu.
Yes.
Please explain that.
So he was in the first Doctor Strange, as we know, the classic line, Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Yes.
So he was basically like pulling strings there. Although he didn't, we weren't seeing as much of him as we have in the comics. I don't know that much about his backstory.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's a very interesting villain for Ironheart. I just don't see I don't see the connection between the two.
He's a mystical villain. I think he'd be better suited for a Doctor Strange.
Absolutely.
Or
right.
Scarlet Witch. Or even like an Avenger.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Moon Knight. He'd be a great Moon Knight villain, I'd say.
I like that.
Ironheart, I feel like she's out of his league. Or he's out of her league.
Right, yeah. She seems to be a very technical.
She has a suit of armor. She can easily pinpoint his weaknesses, make a suit detail to his weaknesses, and goodbye.
Yeah, right.
Because if all you could do is walk on air, that's not going to help you when your opponent can fly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking to learn more about this villain and how he connects with Ironheart. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if he's even in any of the Ironheart comic books. I don't even know if they've met each other, but
I don't think
yeah,
so.
it's very interesting.
Like typically when they pull villains,
Yeah.
they pull villains they've already met.
Exactly.
Not
right.
like out of the aether.
Right.
They don't just take two random characters for the comic books and then merge them together and think, what if we did a collab here? Because usually they have comic material they base it off of.
Yeah, but to be fair, Ironheart, she is not a long-term comic book character. She's fairly new. If compared to Spider-Man, who's been around for so many years. But so she hasn't really had time to build a rose gallery.
Like if you look at Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, these people just have
the legends.
Good Lord, they have like 10 rooms full of villains.
I think Spider-Man probably has the most villains I've ever seen.
If I were to name every Spider-Man villain, you'd be 80 years old and with a gray beard before I'd ever finish.
Good. All right. We're not going to do that tonight,
Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Prowler.
We're not going to do that tonight. All right. I think we have some Q&A. All right. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Yeah. So let's wrap it up. So those are the films of 2023. So what do you think? Post your comments. Let's talk about it. What do we got?
So on the game,
yes,
it's the tech versus magic angle. They're going with that. Never happened in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin.
No, it hasn't. Again, I mean, it's a very interesting combination, bringing those two characters together. So I don't know.
I don't know how the tech versus magic angle is going to play out.
Right. Yeah.
Because the odds are really tipped in one person's favor.
Agreed. Yeah, that's a very good point. All right. So do we have anything else?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we got some more comments. We're waiting for that. All right.
They don't have to have such short phases and unnecessary self-imposed restriction. Took 11 years to get to Endgame. Will take 6 years to get to Secret Wars. Too short. They should take at least 7 to 8 years.
Oh, I see. Your point is that they're just cramming in so much in a short period of time as far as the phases go. Right.
Yeah, phase 4 was like the most loaded phase.
Yeah.
Because they have more movies than like almost every other phase combined.
Yeah. But honestly, again, it may feel like
the entire Infinity Saga.
It may feel like a lot, but Marvel has a plan, and I think
once we enter the age of streaming services because of COVID, then everything kind of went, and then television shows were in, movies were out, and then the movies kind of came in, and they balanced out with television shows, so to speak.
Yes.
So now Marvel's playing between both. So is Star Wars. Like, people have said Phase 4 is like 17 projects in 22 months. So that's almost 2 years with so much stuff loaded in them, and people have missed a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. You can continue to bring in your comments if you have any questions, last minute comments and questions.
Yes, like and subscribe to the video.
Yes. Phase 4 was 17 projects in just 22 months. Right.
18 if you include the group shorts.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. 18 if you. Yeah. Exactly. So yes. So this is it's a lot. I agree with you, but
it's loaded.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a loaded 2023. And can you imagine if you're both a Star Wars and a Marvel fan?
Because your schedule is packed.
Like we are.
Clear out some time, buddy boy. You're going to be sitting at that computer for a while.
We won't be sleeping for a while, so we'll see. We'll manage. All right.
Yeah.
But it's exciting times. Again, whoever thought that we'd be getting this much comic book material and Star Wars material in 1 year. Okay.
We're getting so much stuff now.
Yeah.
Like sleeping is optional now.
Yeah. Sleeping is optional. Right. Okay. All right. Now you're going to say school is optional.
When YouTube was created, sleeping was already optional.
Yeah. Right.
School is not optional though.
Oh, good.
Like you got to go to school.
You got to go to school.
And
all right.
Work
wonderful.
is not optional either. Learn and you work, because if you want the money to pay for that internet bill to watch these shows,
there you go
to work.
That's right.
If you want to be smart enough to understand the entire multiverse saga, go to school. Okay.
If you want to go to school, you want to go to MIT, you got to go to school.
Yeah. If you want to go to the Marvel school, go to school. Stay in school, kids.
Yes, Alex. It's going to be a busy year for me. Yep, exactly. Star Wars and Marvel fan, just like us. So, Alex, get your rest. Get Get your
I
rest.
suggest hibernating for the entire winter
Right.
break so you'll be well rested.
So thank you once again. So Keith, where can people find us?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers and Galaxy. Visit our website, fathersandgalaxy.com. Our merch store, fathersandgalaxy.myspreadshop.com. Please donate to our Patreon page so we can keep uploading awesome content like this, and check out our Spreaker page as well.
Yes, and as far as our shop, we just ask you if you're looking to buy for the holidays,
Like
buy
Christmas
early.
gifts for your loved ones.
Exactly.
Buy
right.
them now.
Buy early so you can get it on time for the holidays, okay? And we would really appreciate, the support that you would be giving us. All right. So thank you once again.
We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, right. So if we are getting some notes from our producer, so we are getting there. Yes,
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
All right.
We'll have new content
Yes.
uploaded soon.
Yes.
Some new story times with Maceo, maybe some trailer reactions.
Right.
So we'll have a lot of content for you for Christmas.
We'll keep it going. All right. So
happy early Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. Happy holidays to everyone.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back. Okay. All right. We'll be back next week. All right. So until next time, take care. And we will see you again.